There seems to be a debate going on in the fitness community where people are talking about whether or not girls actually find bodybuilders attractive. And if going to the gym and actually putting on a ton of muscle is actually going to lead to making you more attractive and to getting more girls. And it's actually interesting because the people who say that it doesn't work and actually if you go to the gym, you put on muscle, you build a nice physique, you're not going to attract any girls. Those are the ones who actually are just too lazy to actually go to the gym in the first place. So this is just like a cope which a lot of people have, where instead of actually putting in the effort, putting in the work to go to the gym, they just like to sit at home and just say that, oh, it's not actually attractive to go to the gym. If you put on too muscles, girls don't like it, and so forth. Whereas the reality is that you actually can build a physique which makes you a ton more attractive. And actually, the way to do this is just outlined in this video, where I'm going to go over exactly how you can tailor your physique towards actually making yourself more attractive and not actually going towards building up that bodybuilder physique where you should see online, where people just have way too much muscle. They have tree trunk legs, they have like massive backs and things like this. And it just leads to them actually kind of just going too far with it and leading to a physique which actually just isn't that attractive at all. So the first point to talk about is just BMIs and golden shoulder to waist ratios. So your BMI, your body mass index. So this is just your overall height divided by your body weight. And it's actually been proven and scientifically proven that women are hardwired to be attracted to someone who's sitting within the range of 24 to 26 BMI. So you can go online and search up your BMI right now, and it should just be online. It'll just be one of the first things that come up in the drop down menu. But if you're sitting within 24 to 26 BMI, then this is like exactly where you need to be in terms of actually building muscle and building a physique that is attractive. So one caveat to this is that if your body composition isn't there and you have a ton of fat and you don't have much muscle, then this isn't really going to work for you as well, because it's not actually really going to tell you as much. However, if you're actually lean and you're keeping your body fat below around about 10 to 12% and you've got a body mass index of about 24 to 26, this means that you're actually really in that golden range where you've got enough muscle that it is attractive. You're not overdoing it, but at the same time, you're not actually someone who's really thin and really skinny. So the other metric which has actually been proven to make you more attractive is the golden shoulder to waist ratio. So your shoulders should be about 1.6 to 1.8 times the width of your waist. So if you can actually measure this yourself, you can actually just find out the measurements of your waist and then your shoulders. And if you're sitting within that range where your shoulders are 1.6 to 1.8 times the width of your waist, then again, you're also just sitting in that kind of like golden ratio where you are actually more attractive to women. This has been proven with many studies, and also it's been backed by science as well, that this is what's like hardwired to be the most attractive physique. So the way that you build a physique which is kind of looks like a movie star physique, which is a lot more attractive. So if you have a look at people in the movies, people like Henry Cavill or like Chris Evans, these are people who are probably sitting right within a 24 to 26 BMI with their weight and with their muscle. So they're not actually overdoing it to an extent where it tends to look gross and it tends to just be unattractive, but it's definitely beneficial to actually put on this muscle. Because if you think about if they were really thin and skinny in these movies, it just completely wouldn't be the same. Or even someone like Brad Pitt and Troy, if they were just skinny, it just would not be the same. They wouldn't be able to make these guys up to be the main character, and it just would not have the same effect at all on the movie or on the cast at all. So it actually is really important that you do have some muscle to your frame if you want to boost your attractiveness. However, just make sure you're not going overboard, and a good way to measure this is just make sure that you're sitting within that 24 to 26 BMI range. So as you can see, a lot of people like Henry Cavill, Brad Pitt, Chris Evans, when they're actually in these big roles for acting and movies, they tend to target different muscles a lot more than other muscles in their body. So for example, with your legs, it's actually not that beneficial to build these up and have massive tree trunk legs, because what happens is it tends to just start to overshadow your upper body, And it's just a muscle group that isn't being proven to be that effective or actually that attractive at all. So another example is having a massive, huge back, like you see a lot of these bodybuilders have today, where they've got like really wide lats and like a huge bulls up upper back. Again, this is another kind of muscle group which you just don't really see for movie stars when they're actually going in and they're actually building up their physique to play a role in a movie. Because it's just not actually that aesthetic, and it's not actually going to make that physique look a lot more attractive. So the muscle groups you can target if you want to make your physique a lot more attractive, the most aesthetic muscle groups are your shoulders, your upper chest, your lats, and your abs. So these are the 4 muscle groups which people target the most when they want to get to that movie star physique, or they want to build that like Greek god aesthetic physique. So what I recommend doing is, when you have this physique, or when you're aiming to go towards this physique, I'd recommend that you train these muscle groups at least 2 times a week. So if you're hitting these muscles that I just mentioned 2 times a week, it's just going to really accelerate the growth on these muscle groups. And it's going to really make your shoulders, your upper chest just really pop out, which is what's going to give you that movie star look and lead to you looking a lot more attractive. And another thing you can do is, I wouldn't neglect the other muscle groups. Like I wouldn't neglect your back or your legs. However, you can just train these once a week and they're still going to improve. They're still actually going to put on a little bit of muscle, but it's just not going to be to the same extent as some of your upper body muscles, which you're aiming to actually make stand out, and you're aiming to make them pop out to give you that movie star aesthetic look. So if you compare this to some of the bodybuilders you see today, where you've got people like Chris Bumstead, or like Arnold back in the day, or Ronnie Coleman, these guys are actually trying to build a physique which is completely proportionate. Because when they step on stage and they're competing in bodybuilding competitions, they actually get judged on how proportionate their physique is. So their legs have to be exactly the same proportion in terms of muscle growth as some of their upper back muscles, their chest, their upper and lower chest kind of needs to be the same, their shoulders as well. So they're building up that physique that's actually proportionate the way out throughout their physique. So this is actually interesting because this is kind of a physique which isn't actually been proven to be that attractive. Because if you actually build up your body and it's proportionate all over with your muscle growth, then this actually isn't going to bring out and make your muscles, which have been proven to be the most attractive muscles, like your traps, chest, shoulders, they're not actually going to start to pop out as much, and they're just going to be overshadowed by the rest of your physique. So lastly, I'll leave you with a couple of exercises which are really going to help these upper body muscles pop out. And if you want to build your traps, it's going to be upright rows. This is really going to help your traps build really quickly and fast, especially if you haven't been training them, which a lot of people actually neglect. And if you want to build up your chest, I recommend doing an incline bench press on one day, and then on another day doing like an incline fly movement. This is just going to hit different muscle fibers in your upper chest, and it's just going to make it pop out and look a lot better. And for your shoulders, lastly, just do lateral raises, and also you can do dumbbell shoulder press where you've got the dumbbells out to the side here, because this is going to build your front deltoid and also your lateral deltoid as well. So these are some really good exercises you can implement into your routine to help build on muscle and build up this upper physique fast to kind of get that Greek god look.